there's a lady in a green shirt standing over here. I just told her a few minutes ago, I said, anybody who had to go back to their seat because we ran out of time, if you don't have your 3x5 card anymore, get another one or write it down or come write it down on her card or on her shirt. I don't care. Give it to her, what card you were holding with whatever question, and in our next Q&A, we are going to physically read your question and answer it. Not all of you, just the ones that were in line and went back to their seats. The rest of you, though, we just discussed this. Any questions that you have, write them down, even if you don't want to come up here, or you think it might be too long of a question or an issue for the conference, and you're going to take those questions and drop them off at the registrations desk. We are physically going to write all the answers to those questions and supply that at the healingfortheages.com website. So ask whatever you want, then we'll answer it. All right, there's merchandise for the Healing for the Ages. They'll show it up there. You can get all of the items at the online apparel shop. You can order, and the order window is only through September 28th if you want to do that. Proceeds from anything you purchase, merchandise here, goes to the Hope for Healing Fund. Dr. Ely, you want to tell them what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So how many of you would like to do something to help the people who are really severely injured and struggling and ready to, and doing everything they can to recover? Give me a roar if that's in your heart. Right? So what we did, the four of us, in conjunction with the Energetic Health Institute, what we did was we put together the Hope for Healing Fund. So you can donate to that. You can, and proceeds from these purchases will go there. We're going to make a donation ourselves, I'm sure, from this conference to it so that we can get that money up. Just last week, we were able to purchase 3 red lights from Mito Red for 3 folks to work with a plasmalogen series to help start remyelinating people's nervous systems. So that's where the research is heading. That's where our work is heading. We're going to talk about it a little bit today. But when you purchase the shirts, when you contribute to that Hope for Healing Fund, every penny goes to people who are really severely in need, and they are grateful for it. So everybody out there that you know me, if you're watching, I love you. You're here with us today. You know it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. God bless you all. All right, that's what you can do there. Thank you. Anybody virtual, scan those codes, get there, get that merchandise, and help support these people. While the evil people have tried to hurt you, deceive you, and destroy basically your entire life. We've watched it over and over. All right, it's time to kick this off. You guys ready? Hey, say it, Ely. Say it. Can I get a what? Say it, Ely.
I just didn't feel it. I mean, honestly, I just didn't feel it.
Hey, can Ely get an amen?
I felt it a little bit more, but can we all come together? Everybody stand up.
I want you to stand up and give a round of applause for Dr. Jana Schmidt. She's about to lead off this conference. Go.
Yeah. Jana Schmidt.
Did it, amen. Would you like me to take these chairs off? I'm taking them anyway.
Awesome. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I'm going to talk a little louder because I think yesterday I didn't talk loud enough, and I apologize, but you'll get all my slides and all that good stuff. So I am super stoked to share with you today because it is something that I love. Plants, bees, trees. I mean, this is who I am. This is what I love to do. So I'm super excited and thrilled to share. And it's really an honor to share these things that I've learned. I feel like if I gain all this knowledge, it doesn't make any sense not to share it, to have it and not to share it with other people. So this is really, really sweet. And again, I told you before, like I grew up this way. I was raised in a natural setting, and then I raised my children that way. And it's been just such a joy to watch them embrace these natural things just as part of their life, as easy as breathing. And I feel very, very confident that they'll do that for their children as well. So I feel like it's this legacy that we lay down when we are able to do this. And I don't have a clicker. Every time, right, with me. Anybody have a clicker for me? All right, so next will be a disclaimer. I'll just tell you what's on the next slide. And when I talk about different plants, thank you. When I talk about different plants, I'm not telling you this is a cure. I'm actually just giving you education on these types of plants and what they can do, the curative nature of plants. And I want to just show you, I feel like we've come so far away from where we should be as far as resonating with God with what he's made with our earth. I feel like it's so far, far away from it. And one of my favorite lines there is eat to live rather than live to eat. So you think about you're getting fuel for your body, and every day you have that choice. You can make that decision to strengthen, enhance your body, or to weaken it, right, or degrade potentially. So every time you eat or drink, you make a choice. So I feel like when you think about it this way, like you're eating to live. You want the best of the best so you can be the smartest, the brightest. This is what I used to tell my children when they would ask me, oh, can I have that chocolate chip cookie, at a play group or something? And I would say, well, we didn't make it, so we don't know what's in it. And I mean, they were little bitty. And I'd say, but, you could have these other things. And I said, I want you to be as strong and smart and healthy and amazing as God intended you to be. That's why I choose this for you instead. But you can make your own choice. Well, they're smart kids, right? And then, of course, they go around and tell everybody else, don't eat the cookies. And it's kind of embarrassing, actually. But yeah, my youngest, now 30, and if you guys join us at the after party, he is going to play, he's going to be our DJ, and he's also a musician, so he's going to share with us. So he's actually a musician, and he has a booth out there called Coastland. He goes around and helps rescue children in some of the darkest places. So, okay, I digress. I can't help it. I'm a proud mama. Yeah. Yeah. So teaching your children at any age to make wise choices for their own health is always a good idea. So, of course, I'm going to start with plants. We have this really special relationship with plants. I think sometimes people forget. Of course, they're giving us oxygen, but there's much more than that. Nutrients, chlorophyll, dense nutrients if they're fresh. And, I get it. Some of these other foods taste good, these sugary foods, but remember, the more you eat those, the more you want them. And the more you eat the good stuff, the more you want that too. So keep that in mind. So the more that you do the right plants in your body, the right foods in the body, the more you're going to want it, and you're going to feel so much better for it. Okay, next slide. So Rudolf Steiner, does anybody know Rudolf Steiner? Have you heard this? We talked about biodynamic farming. It's fascinating topic. But he said for every human illness somewhere in the world, there's a plant that can cure it. I totally believe that. And I believe that for even these man-made bioweapons as well, because we see it over and over and over. So God provides, and he provides the answers for us. So we're designed to have plants in our environment, internally and externally. And this is for maintaining health, not just getting well. So there's thousands of amazing plants. I could be here all day and tell you about the superfoods and everything, but I wanted just to give you some of my favorites. And I want to tell you also, if you're ill, be patient with your body when you're healing naturally. It's not going to be an overnight, that overnight fix might be that medication that masks the symptom, but that's not what we're going for. We're going for actual healing. So you may have to be patient. Give your body a good 3 months if you're dealing with something very chronic. And if you've been dealing with it for a long time, and it may be more than 3 months, it may be 6 months, it may be a year, but just be patient because plants work gently with the body. It's not this quick overnight thing. Unless, of course, God decides to do miraculous, and I've seen that too. So here's just a few superfoods. These are just supercharged plant foods, and they're easily accessible for most people all over. In fact, 16 of those 24 I'm actually growing in my yard, along with some other things. So once you find what grows really well in your environment, go for it. I mean, you want something that's not a lot of work, then find out what's already growing in your area. And there's a lot of like extension offices and 4-H clubs that can help you if you want to grow your own food. Also, if you don't grow your own food, just try and choose as clean plants as you possibly can. Ask at the farmers markets, there's lots of them popping up now. And if you're in the grocery store and you want to okay, what's the best food? And you want to go for organic, the little labels on the produce, have you seen these labels on the produce? They indicate something, the numbers actually indicate something. I think if it starts with a 2, a 3, or a 4, it's telling you which pesticide it was used to grow. And you really don't want to eat the outside of that if you can help it. or any of it. If it says 9, it was raised organically. Now, we know that there's some degrees of really good organic and not, but at least you know this is probably better for me. And if it has an 8, be really cautious. Genetically modified, I want to avoid those at all costs. I would rather have one that had some pesticide grow on it than genetically modified. It's that bad. I don't want either, but if I had to choose, that's what I would go with. So I actually saw, like, oh, what a great price on pineapples. And like, whoop, there's an 8. Like, oh, it's happening more and more and more. And if it's not on the plant, you can look on the box, or you can ask the produce person at your grocery, hey, what's the number on this? I want to know how it was grown. So that's one way, one easy way to avoid some of the things you don't want in your body. Okay. Remarkable healing properties, nourish, protect. They help us reduce anxiety. Anybody have plants in their house and it's just like, oh, this is so nice? Yeah, I have plants everywhere. They give off oxygen, but also they're very resonating with us. They're very relaxing. And inside your house, it will help lower the VOCs, volatile organic compounds that may be off-gassing or maybe from, clothing or even cleaning products. So, and I did talk about sprouts yesterday, so I can't resist. I've talked about it again today. They have such an amazing ability to help our bodies detox, and there's several studies I found, many that show exact action, how they can protect from cancer, certain cancers. So that's huge. And also neuroprotective mechanisms, which explains why many people with autism do really well after detoxing and then adding sprouts to their diet. So silica is another really good superfood, and I like silica in horsetail. I actually drink it as a tea. It's a wonderful plant, but you can also find it in bananas and spinach, oats, cocoa, blueberries. These all are really good to help pull toxins gently from the body. Oh, moringa. Something happened to my slide. Sorry about that. But anyway, I can tell you about it. Moringa is one of my favorite, and I thought I had a big picture of my tree. It's the crowning jewel of my garden. So I don't know if you'll understand what I'm saying, but this tree, this plant doesn't complain. It can be dry, it doesn't matter. It can be really wet, it doesn't matter. It can be windy, it doesn't matter. It grows, it's so happy, it just grows and grows and grows and keeps producing. It never complains. It's amazing. And it drops little seeds and it grows more. So I found that it grows really well if it doesn't get a hard freeze for too long. So people who have hard freeze, I usually say put it in a big pot, bring it in, or a greenhouse of some sort, and then put it back out, and it'll be happy as it can be. So moringa is a super, super, super food. Every part of this plant is used. The flower, the seeds help purify water. You put a couple of moringa seeds in water overnight, and all the viruses, bad viruses and bacteria will be gone. So I often recommend that people on the mission field take this. Of course, water filters and colloidal silver and other things too. But those moringa seeds can be amazing. And in a pinch, you can also eat them. They're highly nutritious, the seeds. But the leaves, oh my goodness, do you see this? 2 times the protein of yogurt, 4 times the vitamin A is carrots, 3 times the potassium of bananas. 7 times the vitamin C is oranges. Absolutely incredible. I eat it every day. As I walk to my chicken coop, I grab the moringa, eat it, thank the tree, come back, give a little bit to the chickens. Yeah, it's amazing. Look at all the benefits. If you can read it through my wonky slide there. Promotes healthy circulation, normal glucose levels, anti-inflammatory, promotes digestion, mental clarity, boosts energy, promotes softer skin, relief from acne, goes on and on and on and on. And that's just and that's leaves, seeds, bark, everything. Pretty amazing. And one really rare thing it does is it supports hormonal levels. So it doesn't add any hormones to the body, but somehow with all of these amazing nutrients, it supports healthy hormones. So I was really impressed to find that. So I'm only going to go over a couple because, I have a short amount of time. But okay, so this is my neem tree and my bee. Isn't it lovely? So, yeah, I got a really good picture of them that time. So neem, has anyone heard of neem? It's really good to repel pests in the garden. So if you have a neem tree and you can use the leaves, you can put it around the garden, and Most pests will stay away from it. But it also internally is an anti-parasitic for us as well. Blood purifying, helps with the metabolism, anti-malarial, antibacterial. So I've used neem for a long time, but look what else it does. Look what else it does, right? Can you see this? Stops the activity of the enzyme present in snake venom. So when Dr. Ardis told me about his findings, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. So I went and I looked at all the things I knew worked and didn't work through all this whole mess. And all the things that worked, I looked anti-venom. All the things that weren't working that you would think would probably be working against something like this, not anti-venom. I'm like, and neem was on the list. Amazing. So I had to tell him, like, yes, everything is exactly right. So, and in India, they often use it as a preventative. They know they're going to be out, there's going to be snakes. Can you imagine living like that, where you know you're probably just going to get bitten by a snake? Wait, aren't we living like that right now? Okay. Wait, I think we are. So they just grab the leaves and they eat it. So every day that I've been just grabbing leaves off my tree, I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize what I was doing. Amazing. So neem's pretty awesome, and I'm glad my bee is representing there. Plumbago, another one of these. This is my plumbago in my yard. Actually sent that picture to Dr. Ely. He's going to talk to you specifically about plumbago. It's this beautiful shrub, just grows. You know, I thought it was lovely, and I knew it for anti-malarial. I knew the roots had different values, like liver protection. It's good for a headache. You make a little tea of plumbago if you have a headache. I knew that, but I didn't know that it's also plasma curing compound. Amazing. So I'm not gonna tell you a lot about that, because I'm pretty sure that Dr. Ely is going to talk about this, but just in a nutshell, it inhibits the bacterial conjugation. Do you remember that slide that he showed where they were coming together? It inhibits that, and it reverses the antibiotic resistance. This is a lovely plant. It tastes wonderful. You can mix it with other things. So we at Healing for the Ages we're working on bringing that together so we can have some serious plasma curing compounds. And it's really pretty. Pomegranate, I can't say enough about pomegranate. You know, reduces arterial blood clots, reduces buildup in the arteries. And this is actually really fascinating to me. So I had people come to me, they've got really high cholesterol. I'm like, oh, great, you got good cholesterol. They're like, no, it needs to come down. So I said, well, let's make sure your body is balanced. Let's say if you're balanced and you're healthy and your cholesterol is a certain amount, then it's where it should be. And years ago, my father was a physician, and this was many years ago, maybe 30-something years ago. He said, look what just came out from the American Medical Association. He said, check this out. All the cholesterol numbers have been shifted. He said, what was healthy before is no longer healthy. So they're telling me all my people with this cholesterol number who are doing great, healthy, living a great life, are now off the charts. So he said, this came out the same week statins came out. The same week that medication, and he had pharmaceutical reps in his office just pushing this. That's when he went, what is happening here? He saw the connection, and he said, no, I'm not telling these people who are totally healthy that were at a great cholesterol level that they're suddenly high and they need to take statins. So I just thought I'd share that about statin drugs. But for people who look like they might have, you know, their cholesterol numbers are a little high, they may be unhealthy, like, well, let's find your balance. And so eating things like black cherries, pomegranates, pomegranate juice, this helps heal the artery walls. And that is connected to cholesterol. So when an artery wall tears, the body says, oh, we need a Band-Aid. And they say, hey, liver, send us a Band-Aid. And that Band-Aid's made of cholesterol. Cholesterol does so many things in the body, but that's one really amazing thing. And it lays on the artery wall until it's healed, and then it comes off and then reabsorbed into the body. But if you constantly have all these tears in your artery without them being healed, your arteries are just going to be like loaded with cholesterol, and that's the problem. So let's get your artery walls healed and make sure that everything's flowing naturally, and make sure your cholesterol levels are where they actually should be. So I love pomegranate. Oh, and there's a recent study from University of Albany that said pomegranate extract literally inhibits breast cancer cells. from growing and to self-renew. I love it when we can find studies like this and just in nature. So I'm going to move on to herbs because I could spend all day on superfoods, and I'm sure we all have our favorites. But herbs represent this balance between your head and heart, but you rely on scientific data as well. What's beautiful about these plants is, like God, their properties are the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Right? So he made them like this, and we know for sure that that's what's going to happen. We don't necessarily know that for sure in anything else, if it's not God made, we don't know if it's going to be the same today or tomorrow. If man's making it, we don't know the quality in which it's made, but we know that God does this. And every plant has measurable energies. Dr. Group was talking about frequency. So everything alive has frequency, and plants have definitely measurable frequency. It's really cool. We can measure them by megahertz and other things. I'm going to give you a list of things, but I encourage you, this is just a snapshot. This is just to get you going. I encourage you to look into the ones that resonate with you and grow them, use them, try them out in teas. Okay, so there's a lot. I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. Healing herbs are everywhere. So you'll get these slides. It's just to show you how absolutely amazing these plants can be. And, colds, fever with elderflowers, echinacea is antimicrobial, chamomile is relaxant, antispasmodic. So just about anything that comes along in your life, like, oh, I got a headache. Oh, there's a tea for that. Oh, I've got a tummy ache. Oh, there's a tea for that. Laryngitis with fennel. Thyme is absolutely a great antiviral, antifungal, helps with sinus congestion, asthma. Has anybody ever used any of these herbs? Yes. Oh, I love it. Wonderful. And the elderflowers, you see all the wonderful things that elderflowers do? Those turn into elderberries, which is also helps protect the body from viruses. It's when we say we are getting a flu shot, I just pour little shots of elderberry. We all take our flu shot. Here are several more. I wanted to highlight green tea. So green tea, white tea, and black tea all come from the same plant. I don't know if you knew that. So when I learned that, I was like, whoa, that's pretty amazing. So when a tea plant is growing, the first leaves are white tea. Then the maturing leaves are green tea. That's what has the most powerful properties. And then the really mature leaves are black tea. And it depends on when they're harvested what you get. So those green tea leaves are the most powerful. They have something called catechins. Or you may see it as EGCG. Really strong for protecting the body, great antioxidant. And it's a great free radical ravager. It's great for the heart. I can't say enough about it. I did want to tell you about Dr. Christy Funk. Anybody heard her name? She's in California. In 2001, she did a study, and she's a doctor that helps women, specifically with cancer. And she did a study that said drinking a small amount of green tea with lemon can reduce breast cancer by as much as 50%. Just a little bit of green tea and lemon. Pretty amazing. So the properties together were absolutely wonderful. I think, we all find herbs that you really love, or you're like, oh, I love the way this smells, or the way it looks, the way it tastes. Meadowsweet is mine. And I'm not sure why, but it's just this lovely, lovely herb, and if I ever have a headache, it takes care of it instantly, so maybe that's why I love it so much. Raspberry leaf, I talked about that yesterday. Amazing woman's tea, filled with nutrients. Sassafras is good. It tastes like root beer, so when I made it, it was like a root beer tea. Our kids loved it. And slippery elm is very, very powerful. Digestive issues, it can go and just sort of line your coating of your intestines and make it just so much more calm and less inflamed. It's great for sore throats. And I wanted just to touch on stevia. It's 50 times sweeter than sugar, and it's a plant. It has minerals. It actually helps curb your cravings for sugar if you have stevia, because your brain thinks, oh, I had sugar, but you really didn't, and your body's hypoglycemic index doesn't rise at all. So it's pretty cool. But I will say one note about stevia. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone who's trying to have a baby. So I did some deep dive research and found that it's often used as a contraceptive in other countries. Daily stevia. So, but I haven't found any negative effects for anyone as far as hormonal goes with stevia, if you're not trying to have a baby. But as a natural fertility specialist, I always have to give that little disclaimer about stevia. So my favorite herbs for kids. Children and herbs work really well together, but not all herbs are great for kids. So I would stick to the really gentle ones, the things we know, tried and true, and here are a few of them. Chamomile's great, calms a nervous tummy. Lemon balm is good. Have you ever had kids where they're so tired, but they can't sleep? They're just wound up, and lemon balm is amazing. And this can be in the form of an essential oil. This could be in the form of a tea, could be diffused. There's a lot of ways. You can put it in a bath. Mint, a grazing, that's amazing for all of us. Digestive health, mental alertness. Cinnamon is good for blood sugar balancing and warming. So I often talk to people with diabetes, and as we're working through getting them back on track, we use a lot of cinnamon. And there's elder again, helping fight colds and flu. And I've always preferred the naturals. This is where I would go for myself. It's what I learned as a child. It's what I did for my children. And then when everything came about with COVID, with SARS-CoV-2, I, of course, went to naturals. And so while people were prescribing ivermectin, I was saying, hey, why don't you look at sweet wormwood? Because people would want to know, like, what are you doing? And I don't prescribe medications, but I can suggest herbs all day long. Instead of hydroxychloroquine, I would suggest quercetin. Instead of aspirin, white willow bark. And so many, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of medications start with that plant foundation, and then they alter it, they do something so they can patent it, call it theirs, and then that's the medication. But that altering of that natural plant often causes problems, side effects. So I always go towards the natural as well. And these help with symptoms, but they also, because they're in their natural form, can help you heal as well. So growing plants doesn't have to be something that's difficult, like the moringa tree, right? And I have to share this. This is actually my favorite T-shirt. Celestial Seasonings in Boulder on their tour. I found this, and there's a tea for that. So whenever I come across a physical illness or emotional illness, this is what comes to my head first. There's a tea for that, right? There's a tea for that. My other answer is bee pollen, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. So if you've ever heard me speak, you know I talk about bee pollen. So I often get asked a question about essential oils. Are they all that great? There's a hype. I know there's been a lot of multi-level marketing type of push with essential oils and have kind of a stigma. But in a word, yes, they are that great, and I'm going to show you why. So in just this one chart, I'm going to explain to you why essential oils are absolutely amazing. Remember that measurable frequency I talked about? Here's the measurable frequency of some common things: the human brain, the human body, and on down, all the way down to someone who's dying. And then here's the other side with processed food, fresh produce. Let's just dissect this for a minute. The human brain operates average 72 to 90 megahertz. Although I think these other docs are like way higher than that right now. They're always going hard. Human body, that's 62 to 68. And then you see it goes down as someone is ill. Their measurable energy is lower. Flu symptoms, you're at 57. Cancer's at 42, someone dealing with cancer. These are averages, obviously. And then death begins at about 25 megahertz. So that's us. And then over here, processed foods, nothing, zero. They're worthless. They're probably going to do more damage than do any good. Fresh produce, up to 15 megahertz. Of course, fresh produce has enzymes and nutrients as well, so we're not just looking at energy. Dry herbs, 12 to 22 megahertz. That's amazing to me. Fresh herbs, 20 to 27. And look at essential oils. Oh my goodness, off the charts, 52 to 320. It takes so much of an herb to make a tiny little bottle of oil. So much of it is packed into that. And then when we have those in our environment, it raises our megahertz. It literally raises ours. So someone who has a cold and you put some essential oils on them or put it in the house or spray, whatever, it's going to help them fight what they're fighting. It's pretty amazing. So yes, essential oils are very powerful. And I think that 320 is clove. And I think frankincense resonates at about 300. Yeah. Pardon? Rose. Rose is a high one too. Okay, yes, clove, rose, they're all absolutely amazing. So I highly recommend having them in your life. I think it's beneficial overall. So, but be cautious because not all essential oils are okay to take internally. I think I mentioned that yesterday. All right, so the moment I've been waiting for. Bee pollen. Okay. Oh, so bees pollinate these plants we're talking about. Without them, we wouldn't have these plants. But they also produce pollen when they're pollinating the plants. They gather the pollen. They go from flower to flower. They gather it up. They put their enzyme in it, and they take it back to the hive. So why is that so great? Because if you ingest bee pollen, it is an incredible brain booster. It's nourishing. It helps improve mental alertness. It helps combat fatigue. The list goes on, and I think I will probably go on and on about it. It helps detoxify, especially for the brain. Oh, it reduces stress. It's a great antioxidant. The list is crazy, but let's just appreciate the bees. This is one of my friends. I think that one's Jessie. No, I'm just kidding. I don't name all of them. Just my favorites, okay? So this little bee is covered in pollen. Look how happy. Amazing. Over 250 biologically active botanical substances isolated in bee pollen. Think about that. Everything for human nutrition. It's incredible, but it's also important for us to recognize how long and how hard they work to get that bee pollen. 1 teaspoon takes one bee 8 hours a day for 2 to 4 weeks to gather it. And each bee pollen pellet has over 2 million flower pollen grains, and 1 teaspoon contains 2.5 million grains of flower pollen. Amazing. I am so thankful I live in Florida because my bees work all the time. They are hard workers. You've heard like busy like a bee. Like it's no joke. They are crazy. They are busy, busy, busy. They work sun up to sundown. So this is what bee pollen has in it, and this is the short list. So it's a complete protein. It is one of the best protein sources I've ever seen. So if you compare ounce for ounce, it's highest in protein than anything else you can eat. Of course, I only take a teaspoon or so a day, but still, it's pretty impressive. I often use this for people who have higher needs for protein, whether they're athletes or recovering from something. We can powder this and put it with some other plant-based proteins. Pretty amazing. Polyphenols help remove metals, including graphene oxide. Yeah, pretty awesome. The bioactive compounds in bee pollen are antioxidant, antibacterial, even against weaponized E. coli, which we talked about yesterday. Anti-inflammatory, antifungal, anti-carcinogenic, on and on and on. It's one of my absolute favorites. One other thing that bee pollen does, it's high in carotenoids. It's got everything. High in carotenoids, and what that can do for the body is it can protect our eyes from blue light. So I've been thinking about like all this light, like my goodness, we're really getting a lot of blue light. So blue light can come naturally in small amounts from the sun, but from all of our devices, right? Our computers, our phones, and we're being bombarded. And it can damage the eye over time, including with macular degeneration and eye fatigue. There's a lot of things that can happen when you have blue light constantly going in your eye. And I won't go on about it too much because I know Dr. Group's going to talk about protection from Wi-Fi radiation and blue light, but I don't know if I should give it away yet. Well, I'll tell you. I can't resist. Blue light is one of the weapons that activates some of the bioweapons in the body. So if we can reduce it, right, this is good, and we can eat foods that are high in all these yellows, like yellow peppers and squash and bee pollen, then we're going to be good. All right, I just wanted to show you, I'm not the only one that thinks this is amazing. There's so many people. I am a little crazy about it, but people ask me about bee pollen for allergies. Yes, it helps reduce the histamine reaction. It can work no matter where you live and where you get the pollen. However, if you get your pollen fairly local, like within regions, like large regions, then it might help you protect you from what's blossoming, what's going in, but has to be super fresh. So this it's renowned for athletic performance. So many athletes get bee pollen from me and have wonderful, wonderful results. So this British Sports Council recorded increase of strength as high as 40 to 50% higher in those athletes that took bee pollen regularly. And they said that some of their adults actually grew. They actually grew a little bit. They're like, whoa, how did you get taller? And these were the ones that are taking bee pollen. And this was after they were already adults. And then here's a director of education in the athletic club, says that bee pollen works, and it works perfectly, allowing superstars to increase their strength and stamina up to 25%. No steroids, no chemicals. This is truly, truly amazing. I will say there's no chemicals in it if you get it organic. Because if a bee pollinates on a flower that's been sprayed with Roundup, and then they take it back to the hive, not only is it going to hurt them, but if you ingest it, it's going to hurt you too. It's only doing your body a disservice if you get non-organic bee pollen. And now I feel like we have to level up a little bit, because now we have to think about the water that the bees are drinking. There's so many harmful things in water. We don't want them drinking out of pools. I had always thought about that, but now even more so. So we're actually beekeepers, if you can't tell, right? And I'm like crazy about what their environment is. They get filtered water just like us, right? They're even smaller, so they're very sensitive. But their little bodies are also sensitive to Wi-Fi radiation. It messes up the GPS in their body. So I thought, how can I help them? I can't like put little EMF protectors on them. If I could, I totally would. But they wouldn't hold still. So I actually put a copper top on top of each hive. And that at least protects them while they're in the hive. And of course, giving them clean water and an abundance of things to pollinate on them. Bees will go up to 3 miles looking for water and food. So if it's right there, they conserve energy. They want like maximum production every single day. So if you have everything close to the hives, if anybody's a beekeeper, if anybody wants to be a beekeeper, I highly recommend it. They're fascinating, they're amazing, they provide so much. So I think if you have everything really close, they're not gonna roam. They're gonna stay right there. So I'm really thrilled about being able to help them. And then the next step that I'm working on is shungite paint. So shungite helps remediate harmful EMFs. So paint their hives with the shungite paint and then paint over top of it, because it's black and we don't want them in Florida to be like roasting. So that's my next project, and I'll let you know how that goes. Oh, and my number one fertility supplement, bee pollen. Sometimes I say, okay, just start with turning off Wi-Fi radiation and take bee pollen, and then we'll make an appointment later. Like, oh, we're pregnant, you know? The next month or two later, like, cool. So that's actually been the number one fertility supplement. And if you think about it, it's the fertility for the plants, right? It has everything you need. And when you give your body what it needs, it does what it's supposed to do. That self-healing mechanisms, they all kick in. Ooh. I don't think is that? It's supposed to be a video, but it's okay. Oh, no. Oh, it's working on mine. So renowned German naturalist Francis Huber was a great proponent. He called it the greatest bodybuilder on earth. And these two Russian scientists were looking at cell renewal, and they said that bee pollen was the best at renewing skin and body cells. And they were making actually products to put on top of your skin. And I will say that I don't just take it internally. I usually mix honey and propolis together, and I use it on my face, on my skin, hair about once a week. And I feel like it's really, really beneficial. High in rutin, remember we were just talking about arteries and capillaries. This can help strengthen. It's really high in rutin. It can help strengthen capillaries. And then I did tell you, I gave it away, the carotenoids and the blue light reduction. Yeah. Here's just a few, oh, it's a little fuzzy. Sorry about that. Here's just a few things that bee pollen can do. And again, think if you're getting everything you need in your body, it's going to help everything work better. So while we were studying and working on things, plasma curing compounds, we were talking, and Dr. H says, does bee pollen have glucose oxidase? I'm like, well, yeah, the bees make it. Like, it's their thing. So that's how they stick the pollen together. They actually make this enzyme, put the bee pollen together, and take it to the hive. And then so we found these articles, amazing. Glucose oxidase as an important yet overlooked factor determining the antibacterial activity of bee pollen and bee bread. So there's a difference between bee pollen and bee bread. I don't harvest bee bread. Bee bread is after they've already taken it into the hive, and they've stored it, and they're going to do something with it. They ferment it, they do different things. Now, once they make propolis from that, which is a sticky, I'm going to talk about that in a second, which is a sticky, like seals up cracks, then we can use that. But I don't take the bee bread because I don't want to rob them. And even when we take the pollen, we don't take that much. So it's mostly theirs, it's their hard work, but they share with us. So I have a pollen catcher drawer, and a little bit comes off their legs, and it just takes a long time to gather quite a bit. But we don't want to rob from them, right? They're doing all this good work. They're pollinating the plants. We need to be respectful. So this is super awesome. Look, it shows that antibacterial effect of the glucose oxidase within bee pollen against pathogens like staph, Pseudomonas, Salmonella, E. coli. This is what we were looking for. So I was really excited to see that this is also one of the keys to disarming these bioweapons. Maybe this is why I feel so good all the time. All right, we're going to move on to honey. So it's another product of the bees. And honey is delicious. It contains a lot of great things, enzymes, antioxidants. It's really great for wound healing. And it also isn't as high as table sugar with glycemic index. It is still sweet. It is a sugar, but it's a natural sugar, and so it's a little better for your body than for people who want to keep low sugar. Honey has a really cool antibacterial effect, so that's one of the reasons why it's so great with wound healing. And when stored properly, it'll never go bad. Same with bee pollen. Someone says, so how long is the bee pollen good for? Like, we don't know yet. Like, it outlives us. There's bee pollen found in pharaoh's tombs that's still active. So keep it away from Wi-Fi radiation. Don't put it near a microwave. Don't put anything. Don't even have a microwave, right? Oh my goodness, I'm thinking, don't put it near. Just get rid of the microwave. But if you have one, if there's someone in your house that just loves that microwave, don't put anything that you value near it, like anywhere near it, because it will devalue everything. I actually did a little experiment one time with some sprouts. We had a microwave, but not anymore, and it was like way in a closet, like in the garage. People were like, where's your microwave? You have to go to the garage. And I put some sprouts just like a few feet away that I wanted to sprout for one day, and I didn't even turn that microwave on. It just had been turned on in the past. So put those sprouts there, they wouldn't sprout. They were dead. And the microwave wasn't even on. And if you take an EMF detector, does anyone have an EMF detector? It's actually a really cool thing to have, a Geiger counter and a EMF detector, super, super fun little gadgets. So if you took an EMF detector and you go around different things in the house, we get to the microwave and it's pegged, even when it's off. So I always say, this thing's gonna be by the curbside one day. And sure enough, it was by the curbside one day. And I just, wrestled it out there and threw it out on the curb. And someone came up, my husband was out, and they're like, what's up with the microwave on your curbside? It's like, oh yeah, my wife doesn't want it. And he's like, does it work? Like, yeah, it works. And he said, you can have it. He goes, well, why doesn't she sell it? It's like, she is not going to gain profit off of someone giving someone this and it hurting them. So just get it out of here. Yeah, thank you. Okay, back to the bees. So it'll last. Don't keep anything near a microwave. It's not worth it. Okay, here's some things about honey. Amazing. It facilitates hair growth. Oh, that might be also why my hair grows like crazy, because I put it on my hair. Enhances libido. It helps with the cardiovascular system. It's great in cosmetics. It helps with cholesterol balancing. I don't like to say lowering because we need cholesterol, but at least balancing where the body should have it. And What's the best thing about bee pollen? Oh my gosh, it tastes amazing. So the next one I'm going to talk about is a bee product. It's propolis. Anybody ever used propolis before? Awesome. Yeah, propolis is incredible. And this is a snapshot. I'm not going to go over everything because there's a lot here. Propolis is a mixture of beeswax and other oils and resins collected by the bees in hive construction, repair, protection. So they use this to coat the inside, or if there's a damage in their hive, they're going to use propolis to seal it up. And sometimes they use it to connect hive racks together. They like things in order, like things close. But look at all the wonderful things that this does. I am just always amazed. I really thought it was interesting during these times where people were having lung infections and having trouble breathing. Propolis really seemed to help, and you can see why here. It helps reduce acute lung infection and inflammation. It helps also with histamine reaction. I could go on, and you can see why propolis is amazing. But I don't use this as an everyday type of thing. It's more when you feel like you need it, right? And I don't have royal jelly up here on purpose. So royal jelly is what the bees make for the babies. And they mix it with honey and pollen and different things, and it helps them grow. But when the hive needs a new queen, it's getting too big, they need to split off, they send a message and say, okay, we're going to feed this one. Actually, I think they do two usually, just to make sure the survival rate. We're going to feed this one, same like every other larva, just royal jelly. And that's it. We're just going to, and then she becomes the queen. And she lives 50 times longer, she's bigger, she's smarter, she's in charge. And then the old queen says, okay, I'm giving you this established hive, and we're going to go find a new one, which I think is pretty nice. And they go find a new one, and then she starts, a new hive. But harvesting of propolis seems so barbaric. Like, I'm okay with the pollen. I mean, not propolis, royal jelly, sorry. I'm okay with propolis, honey. I feel like they share with us, but it just seems really barbaric to the way they get royal jelly. They take the queen out of the hive, so they think, oh my goodness, we don't have a queen. So they start feeding a bunch of bees royal jelly, and then they'll take the rack out, put the queen back, and then they'll scoop out the larva, throw it away, or do something else with it, and then scoop out the royal jelly as the product. So I've never done that, honestly. I mean, I've used royal jelly for certain things, just, experimenting, testing different products. We make a lot of skincare products, and I just couldn't resonate. I couldn't resolve to do it. So that's why I'm not talking about royal jelly. So, and you can look yourself. So thank you. They work hard enough. I don't want to make it harder. So optimal health and innate healing, I invite you to look at naturals over synthetic. Just look at the options. You're going to be amazing. There's a whole world out there at your fingertips, and probably at your feet too, right? Especially at your feet. I definitely, so I'm steeped in naturals. I'm going to go for the root cause with naturals. So I definitely want to encourage you, if you are on a medication, and a lot of people are, I want you to ask yourself and that doctor that put you on that medication, do I need this? Is this something I actually need? Is this helping me with anything at this moment? And some people just take the medication as, just in case I get something. So ask yourself, ask the doctor who put you on that medication, do I actually need this? And then if you want to try naturals, ask your doctor that put you on that medication, is there something natural I can be doing? And if they don't know, they should find out, because your health and wellness should be their first priority. And if you don't find someone like that, then team up with an NDMD, right? Or somebody that knows. They're out there. In fact, we work with a lot of amazing MDs that get it, and we're working together to help people get off the unnecessary medications and get well. So I'm super, super honored to be a part of the people who are doing that, coming alongside, right? We're better together. Our resources are better together. And speaking of resources, I wanted to share with you these resources. These are just a few of my favorites. Of course, I have many more on my website, which is Jana's All Natural. As many resources as I can put up, I do. And I think we've talked about at Healing for the Ages, sharing some of our favorite things as well. So Seed Savers, Eden Brothers, Park Seed, True Leaf Market, these seeds have been tried and true over and over and over. If you don't put them near a microwave, they should be just fine. And these dry herbs and tea blends, these are my favorites. Oh, I'm on there too. So yes, I grow all organic. Star West Botanicals, Frontier, and Mountain Rose are my go-to. And Mountain Rose also has great materials, equipment if you want to start making certain teas or tea blends or extracts. That's a good place to go as well. So these are some of my favorite books. You'll see Dr. Philip Fritchie, Practical Herbalism. Brilliant man. He was my herb mentor. I learned so much from him. And the Prescription for Nutritional Healing. Has anybody heard this book? It's a big book. It's by husband and wife team. Last name is Bulk. It's a really big book, and it gives you the basics. It gives you the basics at the beginning, but then it goes through all kinds of different ailments and says, here's what medication might be prescribed for that. Here's an herb that works. Here's a vitamin. Here's some other therapies. I mean, it's a wide variety of different types of therapies. Herbal healing for women, Rosemary Gladstar. I mean, with a name like Rosemary Gladstar, you've got to be great at herbs. So, and she is. And I don't know her, but hopefully one day I'll meet her. And she has another one, Herbs and Common Ailments. The Herb Book by Lust. These are all some of my really favorites and go-to. They've been dog-eared and worn, and I love them. And there's a couple of websites there for gardening. If you want to start doing some of your own gardening, if you have a small or large place, those are some good ones. And the documentary Need to Grow. Has anybody seen that documentary? Oh, wow. I mean, if you love to grow anything, or if you at least just support it, it is very, very powerful. And it also kind of shows how not only the need to grow, and it's in us, right, to grow plants and have plants around us, and they all resonate, but also shows how it's being trying to be taken down. Our farms are growing your own thing. It shows the nefarious side of that too, and what to be aware of when you're doing your own growing. So it's actually really very inspiring documentary. I think you'll really like it. Seemed like there was one. Oh, I know. So my husband said, you should mention this, and I forgot yesterday, so I want to share with you. In Eastern cultures and many Polynesian cultures, when someone has a doctor, let's say a family has a doctor, they go to the chosen doctor and they agree upon an amount. And they said, okay, this is going to be our amount that we pay you, the people pay the doctor every month, right? They're going to pay them this fee every month. And they have access to that doctor while they're well. If they get sick, they stop paying that doctor. So that doctor gets no money if any of those family members are sick. Isn't that awesome? So what's the motivation? What's the motivation, right? The motivation is to have them be well. But if you think about a lot of what's happened over the years, is it's opposite for us. They only get you to come in if they keep you sick and keep you on medications. And now, obviously not all, but that's the model, right? We have some amazing MDs out there that don't follow that model, but sadly, the majority of them do. So in order for them to get paid, they have to have a sickness and illness back and back. And like Dr. Ely said, we want to make ourselves obsolete. We want to empower you, knowledge, give you these things, teach you, so you can do it yourself and do it for other people. So that's how I feel doctor, and as we know, the root word is actually teacher. So I feel like that makes way more sense. I just haven't been able to, when I say that to people, they're like, yeah, I don't, no, why would I do that? I'm like, no, it makes perfect sense. So only get paid if they're well and stop getting paid if they're not. So I just thought that was really cool. So I want to bring this back to where it should be, and that's God. Behold, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with a seed in it. They'll be yours for food. He made these for us. I think we should take advantage of every amazing quality we possibly can in the fruits and vegetables and plants and herbs. Does this resonate with anybody else? Is this just me? Crazy out here. Thank you. It speaks to God's love for us and what He creates for us. They're made for us. They resonate with us. I think it's the perfect medicine. So I talked a little fast and scooted over some things because I definitely wanted to get to some of the questions that we didn't get to before. So if you guys want to come up, we'll go ahead and get to those questions. Thank you so much for letting me share some of the loves of my life, right? I really appreciate it.
À l'époque, c'était parce qu'on avait encore les 4 enfants à la maison, puis
How many of you got your bags that had a whole bunch of supplements in there? Did y'all get those? So even before I learned about all the B stuff, I'd already started working with a guy named Felipe over here. He's from Brazil, actually creating a bee propolis throat spray, and it's in your swag bag, just so you know. So she's got the pollen. I was like, oh, I've got this propolis product we just launched. I actually just put it on the website last week, so it's in your bags,
I love that
just so you know.
product. That's a great product.
It is great.
Yeah.
There's kid flavors, mint flavored. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
I actually had a sore throat when I first got here. Gone. Gone.
She's a rock star. All right.
In tune with Mother Earth.
You're right. All right, let's
We
get to
all
some
should
questions. I'll move that.
Go for it. I'm just going to move so I can see their faces.
Yeah. What is, first of all, thank you all. I think you rock. You're so awesome. I'm delighted to be here, and you are gifts from God. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So much. What is different in how a pregnant, lactating woman would apply cleansing principles to, maybe try to get some toxins out of their body? I know you don't want to detox into the baby. That would be different than maybe the rest of us. Or any guidelines for pregnant, lactating women?
I've never lactated, so we'll let Jana do that.
There are some very, very gentle herbs that will provide nutrients like minerals that the mother and the baby would need that are going to help purify, like red clover. So something that is easy like that, but also just avoiding the things that are bad, right?
She eats organic. She does everything, but she has a big old breakout on her face that's kind of, I don't know if it's parasites, eczema. I mean, I don't know what it is.
My first go-to personally would be red clover because it's so gentle, right?
Okay.
It's also going to help with. It's also going to help with the milk production too.
Like a tea. Oh, nice. Like a tea.
Yes.
Red clover tea. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Were you saying the baby has a rash on the face?
The mama.
No, the mom, the pregnant mom.
Got it.
Yeah.
I would add iodine is pretty safe for pregnant mothers, and as a matter of fact, they are severely deficient. Women need about 6 times more iodine than men do. So.
And remember that iodine test that we talked about where you put on the skin?
Yeah.
So.
She takes it. Maybe she should up it. What's the max she could take? Maybe.
The max iodine, first of all, you need to take the right kind of iodine,
She
not
takes
the one
yours.
in the drugstore.
She
that
does
says
detoxifying.
iodine.
Yeah.
Get yours.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
What is the right kind?
The right kind is going to be a
Eggs.
certified organic,
Dr.
pure,
Eggs.
nascent iodine.
She
if
takes
you can
a bunch
find
of
it.
your
So I would say for the average for a pregnant mother is around 12,000 micrograms a day. Okay. I know that sounds crazy, but if you look at Dr. Brownstein's research and if you look at the research on iodine, basically we're all deficient in iodine.
Yeah.
You cannot get enough iodine eating seaweed anymore or anything like that. So as a matter of fact, he's actually doing research and has been doing research of going up to 300,000 micrograms a day for cancer. He's doing some cancer research on that. But I would say that's a good, between 6,000 and 12,000 micrograms a day.
And I'm not pregnant yet. But Dr. Group got me completely changed on this. He sent me all this incredible research, and I was reading it. And Dr. Group will say some stuff, and then you'll be like, no. And then he starts sending you paper after paper after paper, and you read it, and it's like, wow. And so I took, what was I taking, like 120,000 micrograms for a couple weeks of his nascent iodine, and I felt great. So, just keep that in mind. We have to unlearn a lot of what we learned, throughout everything.
We've had a 5-year-old grab a bottle of the iodine off the counter,
and drink the whole bottle.
Ooh, ouch.
And the mom walked in and was like, the bottle was laying next to the baby or the toddler. And she was like, oh my gosh. And she called poison control and they were like, oh, we don't really know what to do for that. And so she called us and said, it'll be okay. Just let it, iodine metabolizes and gets out of the system, pretty fast. So that just shows you that
Did the baby make it?
Tell them about the iodine.
Did the baby make it?
You got us on pins and needles.
What?
Hey, did the toddler make it?
Yes, of course. The toddler was fine and ended up the next couple months becoming a genius because iodine is necessary for your brain development.
Stay there. This is a good topic on iodine. Right here, we have time, so let's spend a minute.
Yeah, we
here.
have some time.
Dr. Group and Dr. Schmidt and Dr. Ardis all have this great way of testing iodine by just a skin test. You want to tell everybody?
Yeah, well,
about it?
Janet was
did it.
talking about it yesterday. Yeah, you
Does
just put it on
everybody
your
remember you put it on your skin, just a drop, and see how quickly it absorbs? If it goes away within the first couple of hours, you're really deficient. And so you probably need higher doses like you're referring to. If it's there, after 4 to 6 hours, then you're mildly, you're still deficient. If it's there like the very next day, then you're probably not deficient. So, but I haven't seen anybody that it doesn't go away like now, like within the first couple hours.
Yeah, when I first did it, when we were doing that thing, when I first did it, I put it on, and I put like a lot on. It was gone in seconds.
Wow.
Right, seconds, everybody. And then after a couple weeks of doing the 120, I think we were at 120 or 150,000 micrograms, something like that. Then it would take like a couple hours for it to go away and stuff like that. So it's a really legit test.
So one other thing about your iodine, I love this iodine. I don't know if you know this, but the thyroid loves iodine. It needs it. And once your thyroid has enough iodine, then iodine actually helps all the mucous membranes of your body, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. And when you breathe in something harmful, it's one of the first lines of defense to kill it. It's one of our immune system's gatekeepers. And if you don't have enough, it gets past that first gatekeeper. So when we weren't sure what's going on, I'm like, okay, everybody take a little bit more, take a little bit more. But I noticed at the end of that week, I had gotten so much more work done. Like, I was so productive. I'd read more. I was figuring out all these, like, Torus field, Faraday things I was trying to, I'm like, this is hard. I'm like, no, this isn't hard anymore. And so it was amazing. And I went, wait, is anybody else having the best week ever? And my family was all productive, and I thought, I'm just going to do a few experiments. And then I started talking to some really, really, really the smartest people I know. And they're all doing iodine. So then I realized, okay, I knew it for other things, but for brain function, it's like there's nothing like it.
Yeah, that was the first. I was one of the doctors on the COVID task force under President Trump, and the first paper that we submitted to the White House was a 17-page paper on the efficacy of iodine versus COVID-19 or whatever they were, calling it. And that was because the government has a stockpile of like 4 billion doses of potassium iodide, and so it was something that could be very rapidly, put out to everybody. And we had
Chinese did with vitamin C yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we literally had crickets from the White House of,
Shocking.
no response at all. And that's what we were really trying to work on. But another thing with iodine is that it's not talked about too much, but we are literally overloaded with toxic halogens.
Yeah.
Brominated compounds and fluoridated compounds. There's actually more brominated compounds now than there are fluoridated compounds. Most people have way excess amounts of brominated compounds. Everything in your car is sprayed with fire retardants. Everything, your couches, your rugs, your beds, your memory foam mattresses. Like, we have brominated in bread and in food.
Hot tubs.
And in hot tubs. It's
soaking in it.
everywhere. And so the halogens, especially the bromine and the fluorine compounds, these are taken from natural and then made into synthetic variations. So they bond these bromine to other chemicals. They all attack your pineal gland, and they calcify, and they attack your thyroid gland and your endocrine system. Iodine is one of the most effective ways that bonds to these fluoridated compounds and these brominated compounds to get them out of your system. As a matter of fact, we've had women that have been on iodine that are wearing white T-shirts, and their white T-shirts literally turn yellow up here by their thyroid and their breasts because there's that much brominated compounds coming out in their sweat that's literally staining their clothes yellow. We have to get rid of all these toxic halogens. And even, believe it or not, within 24 hours, iodine actually pulls mercury from the brain and nickel. We're going to talk about why they're using nickel also, and nobody really knows why they're contaminating us with so much nickel, mercury, and aluminum. They have to get tons of metals in our body to accomplish, part of their missions.
Yeah.
Can I say two things real quick? Number one, everybody online, we're about to take some of your questions, but keep in mind, everyone, this is an educational conference.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
We are not giving medical advice. We are not telling you to go out and take high-dose nascent iodine or do any of this stuff. We're sharing information from
Hold
the
up.
heart.
Is
for the
nutritional
better health.
deficiency really a medical condition?
What do you want me to answer?
How about just wellness and recovery? Wellness, regeneration, and recovery.
Right.
Oh my God, I guess it is. They call pregnancy a medical condition now. Oh my God.
But I just want that recorded and on the record for everybody, right? Who is responsible for your health? Wait, hold on. Let's say it together online. Type it out there with me. Who is responsible for your health?
Me.
You got it. Okay, now, I have a question for the docs here on this because I can already feel this question happening online, okay? I have autoimmune hyperthyroid. Hyper, right? Hyper. Is it safe for me to take high dose, 100,000 plus micrograms of nascent iodine, or will that make it worse?
So Dr. Brownstein has done massive amounts of research on iodine, and he has come to the conclusion that it has a lot to do with the toxicity in the metals and the brominated compounds and the fluoridated compounds. And it can take up to a year, 8 months to a year, to repair your thyroid and pull all of that stuff out. What happens, and this is why the doctors say, I have Hashimoto's, you can't take iodine. When you start taking iodine, it takes a little while to get all that stuff out. And then, sometimes you might want to use some selenium, plant-based selenium, and then maybe some B12 also for the thyroid, depending on what you're doing. But you have to look at what you're consuming also and what you continue to put inside your body. Most of the thyroid conditions will come back to normal. It doesn't matter if it's hyper, hypo, or Hashimoto's. They'll come back into balance. Now, here's what happens. People start taking iodine, and they're on Synthroid or Armour or whatever, and then all of a sudden they get excited, and they run into their endocrinologist a week later, and they go, can you test my thyroid levels? The only accurate thyroid test in the world is the one that was designed by Gus Abraham and Dr. Brownstein, and it's in California. You cannot get good readings with any type of medical blood test for the thyroid. Okay, and especially if you're pulling the brominated and all of the fluoridated compounds out, your thyroid levels are going to go like this. This is exactly what happens. You go in, and the doctor goes, "Oh, what are you doing? Now you have Hashimoto's." And then they go, "Oh my gosh!" And he's going, "What are you taking?" "I'm taking iodine." It's like, "Oh my God, you can't take iodine." And then so the patient freaks out, or the client freaks out, and then ends up calling us on the phone wanting to know what to do. So we send them a bunch of educational material and say, "This is exactly what happens. You're going to go like this, up and down, and up and down, and up and down until your thyroid starts to even itself off. And then, hopefully you can get off your medications at that point, in that point in time."
Doctors listening to this, especially MDs, please never run a thyroid-stimulating hormone, a TSH only, ever again. Can we all agree that is ridiculous? You get no information out of that. You can't tell anything from a single data point. Is the most worthless thing I see when I'm reviewing labs with people and stuff like that. They're like, "Oh, well, your TSH is high." So what? I have no understanding of what that means. Do you all know that TSH is not even something that is measuring anything coming out of your thyroid? It's from your pituitary. It's from your pituitary gland, right? It's the most worthless thing. So can you tell when a white coat doesn't know what they're doing? they ordered just a TSH. Now I'm like, okay, you're working with somebody who was in the lower 5% of their class or something like that, when they were in school. So please, folks.
This is a conversation every day in practice.
Every day.
Every single
25
day.
years, every
20
day.
years. I have low thyroid function. How do you know that? My TSH is high. What's that got to do with anything? The TSH isn't even made by the thyroid. It's called the thyroid stimulating hormone. It comes from somewhere else. It comes from your pituitary. Why do y'all keep looking at that thing? And what stimulates the pituitary? Your ovaries.
What? Say what?
Your adrenals. Your pancreas. Your hypothalamus. How in the world are you going to tell me this one little enzyme or one little measured hormone, TSH, that comes from a little nugget in your brain is the only thing measuring what's going on down here? It's so ridiculous.
Did we answer your question and more?
Did you get enough? Yeah.
We can
that was
just
a
keep
long-
going.
Oh, wait, hold up.
Come on.
Rip just said something. Y'all need to listen to this because this is the other thing they're going to look at. Go.
They're
What'd you
going
just
to look
say?
at the T3 and the T4, which is actually produced in your liver, and getting to the root cause of the thyroid issue a lot of times is the liver.
And this is the hard part is there isn't anything wrong with what they're doing. This is just their training. You have to unlearn what they engineered you to understand and know. And then we're over here looking like the whack jobs, like Stella said last night, looking at me like I'm cuckoo, the chiropractors, right? Thought you were cuckoo. Well, all of us were like, y'all are cuckoo. What are y'all doing? Like, just weird and odd stuff. We have to unlearn so much, and we do not know everything.
No.
Oh my God, I had to unlearn what COVID was for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I was told it was a bat virus. Some poop came out of a cave, spread to a seafood market. Some raccoon dog pooped it on somebody in the Philippines, and then they flew to New York.
And 99% of the world's population believed it.
Yeah, but if the raccoon dog would have wore a damn mask.
Hey guys, Silk actually had a question. Can kelp
come on,
actually
come
help
on.
with the
Yeah.
iodine?
Come on.
Kelp.
Bring
Can
her-
kelp
give
be
her-
used as a replacement?
Give her the mic. You get the all-star
I don't
treatment,
mean to
Silk.
interrupt you all, but okay, yes, can kelp be used in the place of iodine since it's a natural herb?
What was the question?
Wait, what was the question?
Can kelp be used in place
Yes,
of
kelp,
iodine?
yes. I mean, the ocean is, pretty contaminated right now. We've tested kelp, and it's got all kinds of crazy
You better be
stuff
careful.
in
I
it.
have a kelp-based iodine product. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, but I know that you already source the best stuff.
Yes, we
But
do.
what I'm saying is, like I said yesterday, 90% of the people buy their stuff from drugstores and grocery stores. But kelp is a great source. I mean, kelp has so many different micronutrients in it. It's just it doesn't have enough iodine in it really to provide the levels of iodine that we need.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely a great source. Any ocean, if the ocean was pure and clean, we have so many great resources in ocean water with seaweeds and kelp that are just amazing.
But also, if you are going to eat kelp, right? And we cook with hijiki and wakame and everything. We make some great vegan broths with it. Will Young has a fantastic vegan broth for your stock and everything. Everybody, Will Young Cooking. All right, if you really enjoy making some stuff taste great, he knows how to make it taste great. Just make sure it's organic, right? At the very least, make sure it's organic. No, hit it again. Go one more.
Okay, listen. Okay, let me just be real with you. My husband has an issue with the thyroid stuff, right?
Putting
And-
his business out in the street. Let's
I'm
go.
sorry, I have to know. I'm here with the doctors, all right? And I know I can go in private, but you know what? I'm going to be real with everybody,
Yep.
okay? So what I want to know, he's taking this. What you taking, baby?
Give me the mic.
Okay, I'm on levothyroxine, right? And okay, so I'm on levothyroxine, and I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, and I had a radioactive iodine treatment to render part of my thyroid inactive. And I'm listening to this information about iodine, and I'm like, wow, I just allowed my thyroid to be destroyed by a therapy session. And now I'm taking replacement levothyroxine to bring to keep my levels at a certain place. But throughout this whole process, I went through an emotional roller coaster because the thyroid, it regulates so many parts of our emotions, our feelings, and et cetera, and how our body receives nutrients, et cetera. And so I'm like floored by this information. I really am.
Yes, me too, because I've had to deal with a lot of the stuff. So, I know we have our PMS, and I'm like, are you PMSing too? So somebody help a sister out.
We'll help you out.
Because I love my husband, I want to stay married, but good God, help me out.
All right, hold on. Can I say something? So. People always ask me how I met my wife. She came in as a patient 12 years ago. On a synthroid drug, told she had hypothyroidism, and then was put on a high blood pressure drug to manage the effects of the synthroid she was put on, because she actually was a hyperthyroid patient and they missed it with their blood test. So when they gave her more thyroid, synthroid, it elevated how much thyroid hormone she was releasing, and it made her blood pressure go up. So the only answer was go to a cardiologist and now be put on this drug. Ask her how long she's been on any of those drugs. How long? She's been off of them for 12 years now. And we did it all naturally. The body does heal. God is fabulous. We would love to help you too.
Amen. Amen.
And the truth is, we want Silk happy, just so you know.
Yes, we need Silk happy.
We don't want her kicking you out in the watermelon garden to deal with your PMS roller coaster.
Isn't it amazing how most of these things attack the endocrine system and the hormonal system to kind of make us a little moody?
Wackadoodles.
But this aha moment is what every patient experiences when they come into our doors.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Let's do it.
It's going to be.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Amen. Hey,
thank you. Thank you for being willing to share that.
Before we go to you,
We'll talk to you further after.
let's rapid fire a couple of the virtual questions real quick. Just one quick answer for them, then Minnick.
Here we
can
go.
be up next.
Can Dr. Jana expand upon how she mixes and uses bee pollen on her skin and hair? This is probably my wife's question. Okay,
Oh, sure. Just raw honey, and not all honey's created equal. You don't want just some mass-produced honey. Get it from a farmer, a local something. You don't want grocery store honey. And you just take the honey and put it in a container, and you can put a couple drops of liquid propolis. My favorite propolis comes from, if I don't make it myself, which I do sometimes, comes from Hawaii Farm. If anybody's heard of Hawaii Farm, they've got great tinctures and they have a great liquid propolis. And I get non-alcoholic for the skin. So put maybe, half a cup of honey and about 10 to 20 drops of propolis, mix it all together. I just leave it in the shower. And so once a week, I just lather my whole face, my hair, let it sit for maybe, not even 5 minutes, and then that's it.
All right, great. I love these questions. Thank you at home for writing this. This next one's for you.
Okay.
Because you're the queen of all bees. With bee allergy, is bee pollen okay?
That's a good question. The venom in the bee sting is not the same as the enzyme that they use to gather the pollen. So it's different. And I have not had anyone have any problem ever with taking bee pollen if they're allergic to bee stings. However, I've had people allergic to pollen that they got because they got it from a poor source and they had a reaction. But I always say start really small, start with 1/4 of a teaspoon and see how your body reacts, because a lot of people may be detoxing quickly or may just be super sensitive. So, and I always say after the age of 2, so not before that.
I just have to say, wow, every time I ask any of these guys something, I'm like, what? I didn't know that. It's awesome to listen to you guys talk and share stuff, because even while you were talking just a minute ago, I looked at Jen, I was like, I cannot believe the stuff we all know that we don't know, right?
Oh, and
Each
by
of
the
us
way,
know stuff that we
the
don't
bee
know.
stings are not bad for you.
No, apitherapy.
Bee
They do
stings
use
are
it.
actually good for you if you have inflammation. So
Wait a minute.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hold up. All right, you got to explain that. Because I got stung and that didn't feel good.
right, but if you'd had like a sore back or some inflammation, it would inactivate your body to make anti-inflammatory properties to reduce inflation. I mean, I don't recommend go out and get stung,
Yeah, I'm
especially
just saying,
because
we're not
I
tell-
love the bees. I don't want them
That's
out
like
there.
telling people to go out and get bit by a snake.
No,
I'm
no,
not doing
totally
that either.
different. Totally different. The bees are
Okay.
on our side.
Okay, all right. All right, the bees are good,
the bee
snakes
venom
bad.
is the only
All right,
venom
we're all on
that's
the same page
They actually
here.
call
go.
it stings.
As a matter of
Okay.
fact, they've done studies on cancer, and they're actually doing studies on cancer treatment right now using the apitherapy for.
Well,
for
I like Samuel Hahnemann's original approach with it, Apis mel. How many have taken Apis mel as a homeopathic, right? There we go. Oh, I got two. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Let's get another question.
All right, one more question here. We'll let one of you guys answer it. For a current blood clot in my leg, what can I do instead of taking blood thinners?
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You know what I'm going to say, so
Yeah.
you go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead first. You go.
I mean, the fastest way to get rid of blood clots is your own urine. I mean, there's nothing more powerful than the urokinase. You can look at drugs.com. It says the most powerful clot-busting. It actually says that in drugs.com. Clot-busting drug there is.
Where do you find urokinase?
You find it in your body being manufactured for you every single day in your urine.
Yeah, I was actually going to say urokinase. I was. So yeah, remember what I showed yesterday, the urokinase, right? That is the thing that breaks down the fibrin threads. It's the number one thing in the body that does it. So the number one therapy would be urotherapy for immediate blood clots.
For immediate, yeah.
Number two, great suggestions. Is there anything else you want to say on that?
Yeah, also, you got your nattokinase, your lumbrokinase, your serrapeptase, any of your proteolytic enzymes. You just need to put proteolytic enzymes into your body while you are in a fasting state, so I can throw mine in there too. While you're in a fasting state, so the enzymes that you take in when you're in a fasting state get into the bloodstream, and that's where they start having their efficacy. And it's like, and you're going to take more than you think you need to take. I mean, you're going to need to take more than you think you need to take. So what you have to do is really space it out when you're administering it and make sure that you're taking proteolytics very small dose, but every hour. And if you start noticing that your stomach starts getting a little upset, you have to give yourself a break. But you take a small dose, like Dr. J is saying with the bee pollen. Small movements, and then that makes it easier for course correction when you're working with yourself. So,
Also, the FDA in May of 2020 attempted to ban a product being sold for 75 years by supplement companies called N-acetylcysteine.
Remember that?
And every company in the world's been selling it for 75 years, fired right back at the FDA and said, you ain't doing that to us. This was done by the FDA on purpose. Why would the FDA, in the middle of a pandemic health crisis, come out and go, you know what, we got something important to say, while we're locking everybody down, masking them up, and making kids not hug their grandparents because they ain't got vaccines yet. We're not going to let companies sell NAC.
right.
For the first time in 75 years. This is mega important. 5th month into the pandemic. Well, it's still on the market. I sell it. Do you want to know why they try to take it off the market? N-acetylcysteine is proven to prevent blood clotting. And what was the side effect of the weaponized COVID-19 thing? Blood clotting. All right, this is very important. 2,000 milligrams of NAC in medical studies. They actually did studies and opened up with surgeons, cut open the body of people who they use blood thinners to keep them from clotting. You ever notice that when you get a wound or a cut open, your body will form clots? So during surgery, they don't want you forming clots and stroking out and dying. So they put you on blood thinners so your blood won't clot. Got this? They wanted to know, will NAC do the same thing as warfarin, heparin, Coumadin? Will it do it? Without any of those drugs, NAC did the exact same thing during surgery. So, there's a lot of great solutions up
Dr.
here.
Ardis, I got two more things on that then. And we can't shut up, obviously, right? Turmeric also, right? Curcuma longa. But I wanted to actually put a note not on this. How many of you are taking notes right now? Yeah? How many of you are taking notes online? Okay. Let me help you simplify your learning process so that you're not feeling overwhelmed, okay? When you hear something new like bee pollen, associate it today with one thing.
It's going to be good for so many things. But as a student, the fastest way to learn is to take that one thing, bee pollen, and associate it with one idea. And then you go to the next thing, N-acetylcysteine, one idea. Nascent iodine, one idea. Make that your victory today. One solution, one idea with it. Okay? Because you can then go back and reference the other things in our presentations that it's good for. Can I get a howl?
And I do want to say this, we're not going to give out, we just gave out like 5 or 6 recommendations for blood clots. Do you know this person who's asking about blood clots has a blood clot in their leg? Right now. I wouldn't go like this, try a few grains of bee pollen for a few days, let's see what happens. Man, I'd throw this whole kitchen sink we just said at that. Why? You've got an emergency state.
Bee pollen plus the...
Yeah, put all that crap in there. But for the majority of you, you don't need all those things every day.
No.
You don't have to go run out buying this stuff, making sure you don't have blood clots. If you start implementing the food principles we're teaching you, the dietary principles, and then maybe stop buying multivitamins and buy bee pollen.
And ask yourself, what is the reason I have the blood clot, which is really our whole message is getting to the root cause instead of treating the symptoms. The blood clot is the symptom of something. What is the reason why you have the blood clot to begin with? That's what needs to be addressed.
Amen. You guys okay with this? And just so y'all know, we have 25 minutes still left, so go ahead.
Let's go.
Because Jana went through her presentation so fast.
I wanted to get to all these questions.
I love it.
First of all, thank you all so much for what you're doing. You're really the heroes of today.
Thank you.
I'm just angry. It killed my father-in-law,
He just
man.
does it
I'm
with
just
a
being
smile.
honest.
All right, go ahead.
So these are 3 quickies, if that's okay. Number 1 is stevia. What's the best form to take it in? Number 2.
Hold on, let's answer one at a time. So hit it.
The
Stevia, what's the
plant.
best one?
Actually, picking it off a plant, it grows pretty easily. But otherwise, if you're going to get stevia, I would definitely make sure there's not a lot of other things in it that it's been altered to be patented as some brand. Does that make sense?
For sure.
There's a couple of companies out there that are putting a lot of strange chemicals in it so they can brand it. So as pure, plain as you can get from the plant.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Should be the leaf. There's actually multiple countries that have banned stevia from all food items because it causes liver disease.
So the plant,
Processed stevia.
Right,
And then you need to ask yourself, why did Pepsi and Coke buy up stevia to make these little packets you're buying in grocery stores called stevia?
Yeah, they've got all kinds of things in there that's going to process and add things. But the leaves are our bodies know what to do with that. But the processed is, like I said,
Man, it's
hard
so
on the
good
body.
at screwing stuff up.
Wow, thank you so much. The second one is bee pollen. Do you have to keep it in a fridge?
No, I just wouldn't heat it up. It loses its properties once it gets like cooked or heated up, or in a hot car. You don't want to keep it anything hot. So you don't have to keep it in the fridge or freezer, but you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And the last one is why do you have to wait till a child's 2 years old to be able to give them bee pollen or honey? I've heard as well too.
I don't know anything about that question.
Because their bodies haven't developed enough of the microbiome naturally in order to handle it. It could be they could have allergic reaction, basically.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Good morning. Great presentation, Jana.
I did too. Thank you.
I'm also from Florida, and last year we started a raised bed garden at our house. And so we've recently learned about butterfly pea flower, and we have one growing now. It grew great through all the hot summer. So I was just wondering your thoughts on that plant.
I love butterfly pea flowers. Anybody ever used it? It's bright purple. Not many things in nature are that bright purple. No, it's wonderful. It's a great diuretic. It's wonderful. It's great. It has nutrition. Are you using it as a tea, or are you using
Yes,
it
we've made a tea with it. Mm-hmm.
It's similar to the benefits of hibiscus.
Okay. And then lastly, when you use the herbs, are you making teas with all of them? Is that how you use them?
I love them fresh, but obviously we can't always have the fresh herbs at certain times of the year based on where you live. So you can dry them and then store them in like an airtight container. I generally like to store them in something that's going to protect them from Wi-Fi radiation, like thinking like a Mylar bag or something.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Miriam Roman. I came here with my husband and my 3 kids, and we are so blessed and so grateful to have met you guys, to be following you. And we are trying to teach our kids so they can be the next healers as well. while we heal ourselves. So we're grateful for that. So thank you.
Way to go, Mom.
My question to you, I'm 43 years old and I would love to get pregnant. However, they did cut my tubes about 7 years ago. So I believe in miracles and I wanted to ask you if you have seen miracles in my case, and what should I focus on to help prepare my body, just in case God doesn't want me to have another baby.
So did they cut your tubes or tie them?
They cut them, that's my understanding.
They cut them. Well, the body has an amazing way to
Yes.
regenerate itself, so nothing's impossible for
Yes.
sure. So, all these suggestions we're talking about, detoxing and nourishing and avoiding the bad things, that this is perfect. Your body will do what it needs to do.
Yes, for sure.
You ever read this book by Deepak Chopra, Quantum Healing, and the power of prayer and focusing intention? You're gonna be seeing the impact on physical elements like water, just thoughts, words, music, sound. Might be a good idea to have your whole family just pray around you every day.
Oh my
that
God,
you will get
yes,
pregnant
that's
or you'll be
beautiful.
healed.
Yes.
Good job empowering your kiddos too.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you. We love you
I'm
guys.
going to tell you, there's a bunch of babies roaming around on this planet right now. Some are older babies because all of the women did something that's so important for every woman to do. They focused on cleansing their liver. You want to get your hormones right, you got to get your liver cleaned out. And you do that, and sometimes you have a happy little accident that shows up.
The cleaner the temple is, your whole life changes. It's
And the ability to heal.
And the ability to heal. Yeah, exactly.
Amen. Amen. Okay. Thank you, guys. God bless.
I presume this is for Jana. Fairly well versed on raising bees. I know bees fly up to 4 miles. And how can you say it's organic? And how can we remediate living in corn country, USA, and bean country, and hay country?
Right.
How can we remediate the effects of the chemicals in our environment?
That's good. Yes, they will roam, but they're roaming looking for something. So if you provide that close, they don't have a tendency to roam. In fact, I've never seen my bees leave my yard. And then the bees we have a big property, we share a botanical garden property, organic, 600 acres. They don't have to go. I mean, they've got everything, but if you have a small space, provide what they need, that the things they love, blooming all the time, and then the pure water really close to the hive, and they won't need to go very far. They're very efficient. They don't want to go beyond what they have to. So
They're lazy too.
They're convenient.
Tell them about your suggestion about putting the copper on there.
I did.
Oh,
I
you
said
did?
earlier, about copper and shungite.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
I just want to thank you all so much for sharing your knowledge with us and allowing us to be here. I feel truly blessed. And I just want to say God bless you all and all the people here too. My question is I took some of your bee pollen earlier. I feel amazing. Like I have more energy than I've had, and I didn't get much sleep last night. So my question is, I live in deep south hot Texas. And getting things shipped to us, it'll sit on a hot delivery truck half the day. So I'm worried about getting your bee pollen because I really want to order some. I want to know the best way.
Yeah, that is a good question. We try to pack it so it's not going to have as much impact with the heat, the way we pack it and the type of bags we use. But it would be better to order it in the off months when it's not as hot. So wait till October, November, December, and then that's probably the best if you live in a hot climate.
Great idea. Thank you.
And I'm glad you have so much energy. I always say it's a busy
also
mom's
remember that bees are in the heat too. Bees are going to be the flowers are going to be blooming and pollinating at 100 and something degrees. So
someone asked earlier, does it need to be refrigerated? And I was like, is a hive refrigerated?
I mean, you can do it if you want.
This is the complexity of men.
We just don't
men and women, we do this.
As usual, immense gratitude to the four of you and to everyone. Jana, you're looking like a flower with the 3 Bs. So my question, my request is, can you please talk about edible flowers, wild and cultivated. Your thoughts, your suggestions, and whatever tips you want to share.
Just give a few.
Okay, so yeah, there are many edible flowers, and they're beautiful. They add, beautiful addition to your meals. But I think you look at where you are and what you're growing, because you don't want to eat the flower sprayed with chemicals or grown in, poor conditions. So that's the only thing about edible flowers. But there are many, dandelion, plumbago. There's several that you can enjoy. The pea flower that we just talked about.
Thank you.
I just want to add one thing to that. It is vitally important for everybody to find a herbalist or somebody in your area and hire them for a day on a weekend and go out and learn what you can eat in your 1 mile, 2 mile environment of where you live. You will be amazed at what you can eat and what's available for you. Like, there's nowhere we can go and feel like we cannot fully sustain ourselves for however long, because you have to understand and know your environment in which you live. Hire an expert, do it for a day, and that way you'll know, because that can come in extremely useful as well during a lockdown or during whatever's happening, when people are freaking out and they don't know what they can eat and what they can't eat. So that's survival. And God has all of this, everything you need usually within a 2 mile radius. I mean, obviously, if you're in New York City or something like that, you could probably find what you need in Central Park. It might be a little bit contaminated or something. But anyway, it's just a good idea to know what is edible and what's not in your environment. And I'm sure Jana does this too. Like, we're driving down the road all the time. We're like, oh, look at that. Oh, there's some mullein over there. Oh, yeah, raspberry, blackberry leaves, mullein. There's so much stuff. You can chew on pine needles even if you need to. There's pine everywhere to get nutrients in your system, vitamin C and...
Notice he said chew on pine needles. He did not say swallow pine needles, okay?
There's great foraging books, too, for different areas of the country. And foraging books are fun because then you can go out and actually look for them yourself.
Thank you. And talking about New York, in 1980s, that's where I first learned hobo herbalist right in New York City.
Good morning. I'm Silk and Diamond driver. So I drive Silk all over the United States. And I'm so honored she invited me to attend this event. I've never been to one before. I'm so excited. I'm speechless.
We've never been to one of these either.
Okay.
we just made it up.
Okay, cool. So listening to you like yesterday and today, like it got me back many, many years ago. Like, I came from a town called Biskra. It's in Algeria, the Middle East of country called Algeria, North Africa. And there is a place in California called Biskra Palms. Mm-hmm. That's where the palm dates in California, its origins is from my hometown. Nice. So I'm so honored and glad that one of my cousins, he's the one who cut the male and female of those dates, palm dates, and they shipped them to the US. So I should get some benefits from that. So, 2010, I got married. The doctors, they said, they do those sperm tests, whatever they call them. They said you will never get kids. You should go through this fertility, blah, 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 ripping you off money thing, Yeah. And thanks God I met this. He's like a best friend of mine now. He's my #1 doctor to call. He's not a doctor, he's just a driver like myself. But he should be sitting next to you guys. He's like very well-educated person. And we met, and he started explaining to me the benefits of the bee, the honey, all the vegetables, all the stuff you've been talking to about like the whole couple days. And I started doing that. Now I have 3 kids. And
just since yesterday?
Huh?
Since yesterday?
No. No, my old son.
We just told you yesterday.
Yeah, I know. But that was like 2013. So my first son.
You should be up here.
My first son, he's about to be 9 in December. Wonderful. And my second one, he just turned 6. The third one is about to be 4 in January. Healthy. I have never ever used any pills, any medication, nothing. Just eating healthy stuff. And mentioning the palm dates, I believe you should talk about.
How many of y'all having a good time? I can feel that a little bit. How many of y'all having a good